Hi Pisces, this is your forecast for the month of November 2016. This is a general reading for Pisces Sun, Pisces Rising, or Pisces Moon. If you have a different rising or moon sign, you might find watching those videos helpful or more informative for you. Please remember that these are general readings, and so they may not apply to everyone. If you would like a personal reading that is specific to you, please visit my website at thealchemistastrologer.com, provided on the link at the upper corner. If you have visited my site before, you'll need to clear your browser's cache for the schedule button to function properly. And Pisces, I know that your time is valuable, and I want to thank you for joining me today. So the first week of November, you seem to have a lot of options in front of you, and maybe you're having difficulty in focusing. Maybe there's a sense of confusion, some indecision on your part, some uncertainty, because maybe all of the options look tempting, but obviously not every one of those holds true value. So maybe there's some difficult choices in front of you. Or maybe, there are some illusions that you're having to sift through. For some of you, you're unable to make a decision because you're overwhelmed by your emotions, and those are dominating your rational thought. For some of you, you're being impractical about something, or maybe you're seeking to escape. And maybe you are involved in escapist behavior, maybe through sleeping or drugs, alcohol. For some of you, you're realizing that you've made an error in your judgment. There's something some perception that you had that is not altogether true. For others of you, there's some wishful thinking. There's something that you are really hoping for. And some of you may be feeling under the weather, slightly ill. Your energy is dissipating, and maybe you're scattering your energy in too many places. But whatever it is you're involved with this week, you are having to rethink something because you either overestimated or underestimated with regard to a situation or a person. And whatever your judgment was, it was for better or worse. So again, you're having to reevaluate your relationships. And it's possible that this is a week where just a single thing going off track could throw something that you had planned off the rail, your entire agenda. So one small error could take all of the cars off of the track. Now, for some of you, this is a week for you to focus on getting things in order. And so you may be able to, reorganize by prioritizing what's most important and working from there. And if you do, you could find that at the end of it, you've reached your goals in less time, and some things that you thought you were going to have to abandon or give up on turn out to be successful. Now, for some of you, because of the confusion, you're going to have to, you made an error in judgment. You're going to have to apologize to somebody, or maybe you're going to have to make an excuse, or maybe you're going to have to substitute for somebody because something has dissipated, some energy is gone. And so maybe you're having to take the place of someone with regard to responsibilities at home or at work, or maybe both. And because this is a card of illusions, you could be trying to create illusions yourself and making things appear really better than they are. And you could be building castles in the air when there's no grounding for whatever it is that you're involved with. So this is a week where you don't want to deny what's in front of you. You don't want to avoid dealing with your issues. You need to confront those and focus your energy on things that matter so that you can have the time to do the things that you enjoy. So this could be, feeling very spread, and spread too thinly. So maybe you feel as if you're always coming up short, or that you don't quite have enough, or you can never quite get to the finish line. So you may have too many irons in the fire this week. And so it would be better if you take the time to handle things in a more realistic manner rather than letting them pile up. This is also a card where you could be especially creative this week, or maybe you're receiving some kind of psychic impressions. Your intuition is very high. So you may have an awakening this week, or, when you're involved with nature or when you're alone, you may sense, higher self around you. Now, for some of you, you are simply spreading yourself too thin, and this is a week where you need to get grounded and focus on what's in front of you, the here and the now. You may be struggling to see some things clearly. Now, the second week, you have the Hermit card. Let me go back to the first week. For some reason, I'm feeling that some of you may need to be aware of your sprinkler system or your plumbing or something that could create some kind of damage or cost you in some way with regard to your home. So check anything that has a connection to water. Now, the second week, something comes to light, and maybe you were trying to gain some clarity about something that was confusing for you, or maybe you're getting more information, or you're getting some advice. If this had to do with something spiritual or psychic, you may be coming to some kind of an awareness. So some of you could be spending more time alone this week, thinking about things. There may be a need for you to, psychologically gain some space or get in touch with the higher source in some way, make some self-discoveries. And so you may decide to withdraw from society and spend more time with yourself, doing some reflection or getting some inner guidance, doing some self-examination and reassessing some things. For others of you, there is something, perhaps confusing that you wish to bring to light. You may be, putting some information out there. Or perhaps you're trying to offer some type of counsel to other people. So either you're seeking advice or you're trying to get some advice. You could be alternately acting in roles: teacher, student, mentor, a seeker, or a gatherer. So some of you may be working on something behind the scenes. Maybe you're doing research or you're quietly preparing for something. But this is a karmic week where you are given the opportunity to tie up some loose ends, to deal with some circumstances that perhaps you hadn't wanted to deal with up until now. So you are gaining some understanding, and some beliefs that you've had are being tested. And so you may discover some truths that sort of surprise you. Now, you have added protection during this week. So even if you're feeling stressful or overwhelmed, or you've hit a crisis point, you're being spiritually protected, and you're gaining some wisdom and awareness. And this is a week for you to try to quiet your mind and listen and try to observe, look at other people and see if what they're telling you is true. You need to sift through the confusion to see if words are matching with actions. And you need to rely on your common sense as well as your intuition. So this may not be a week for you to necessarily rely on other people to keep their word, because they may not do that. So you're going to have to use your common sense to make choices that are good for you and decisions that will help you achieve what it is that you're hoping to. Whatever's happening, you are taking a very, objective stance about it. You're not being emotional this week. If last week you were overwhelmed by emotions, this week you've sort of stepped back a little bit, and now you're taking a more philosophical or intellectual outlook in order to make your plans. Because now, if you were confused before, now you've gained some clarity. You kind of see things for what they are. You're looking at the truth of a situation. And you're also looking at yourself and what you really want. And so you are realigning your goals to match what you have now discovered. So this could be a week where it's very easy for you to communicate with other people, to connect with other people, even if it's at a distance or more objectively. You're not emotionally engaged, although you may have an intellectual connection. It's more of a mental rapport than an emotional one. And for some of you, you have to be careful about having a single-minded focus. Make sure that you're not so focused on one aspect of your life that you lose track of something else. So you could be so caught up in what's going on in your personal life that you're not giving your career the attention that it deserves, or vice versa. And also, this could be a week where you are feeling, even though you're not emotional, you may be acting in ways that push other people's buttons. You may be triggering controversy or some kind of confrontation with other people. But this is not going to work to your advantage, and you're ultimately going to come out on the losing end of that. And that is probably set up for you to discover some truths about yourself and realize that you don't know as much as you think you do. So there is some element that you're trying to bring to light this week. Perhaps there's a secret. There's something that you're not seeing and you're searching for it. Or perhaps there's something that you're hiding, or you're going over the events of the past, or you feel that there's something that needs to come to light. Now, the third week of November, there's some opportunity for you that presents. You're either, in control of a situation at this point, or that situation is controlling you. So this is you. Probably you've gained some information, shed some light on something, and now you're seeing the big picture. You've got a vision. And it's time for you to, act on the opportunity using your personal power. This could be, you involved in some kind of negotiation, or you're waiting for an answer. Maybe you're thinking about traveling. Maybe this is a business opportunity. Now, for some of you, this is a waiting period. Maybe you're waiting for this information to come through, or waiting to act on this information. So whatever is happening, it's going to allow you to make a point, prove yourself in some way, and maybe for some of you, clear yourself of something. And if this opportunity is something that you're not interested in, this is going to be a setup where it's easy for you to pull out without people feeling upset with you about it. You can gracefully remove yourself from a situation without any repercussions. Now, for others of you, you have spread yourself too thin. And remember, the first week you were scattering your energies. Or possibly scattering your energy. So, maybe you're being impulsive about something, and you're putting your energy in too many directions. And maybe your expectations were too high about something. And now, you're having to face the truth of something and the reality of what a situation is. In fact, whatever is in front of you this week, this is a time for you to be very realistic rather than idealistic. If in the first week you had all these grand visions and ideas, this third week is the week to get more clear. Some information may have come to light, and now, you're being more realistic about what is possible. But there are opportunities that are going to present to you, whether in your personal life or your professional life, or perhaps both, that will give you the opportunity to make some changes that you would like to happen. So you are going to feel a stronger sense of attachment to a situation or a person, or that's going to decrease for you. Now, some of you have been procrastinating, and you're not waiting because you're gathering in information or you're looking for the best time to strike. You're waiting because you're lacking confidence in some way. You're not believing in your own abilities, and maybe that's because you're not getting the support from other people that you were hoping for. But just know that when you are acting, indecisively, that's going to leave you vulnerable to other personalities that are more powerful than yours. And so you may be susceptible to being intimidated or pushed to do something that you don't want to do, or manipulated in some way. So this is the time for you to trust your own gut instincts, because sooner rather than later, you'll tend to regret the choice you made if it wasn't your choice. But again, you're being urged to get all the facts before you make your decision. Make sure that you know what you're talking about before you create a ruckus or you act on something, because you want to be sure that you're not acting on an assumption. So this is a week about change and some kind of transformation taking place, possibly an ending, or again, having to face some kind of truth. And some of you will realize that you have been waiting in vain for something. Now, the fourth week, you have a very good card. So this is ending on a high note. This is one of the most fortunate cards in the deck, and it's a card that will allow you to make some progress. Now, this could be a week where maybe you're taking a vacation, and maybe that's what you were reviewing. Maybe, you're taking a break, or you're going to some kind of social event or some kind of social gathering. But this could be the start of some project, the initial success of that project. You're laying down the groundwork and you're seeing some results that give you a sense of excitement about going further with it. Some of you are moving house, or you're moving in together, or some of you are thinking about getting married. But there's a sense of excitement, celebration, forming alliances, community, gathering, prosperity. So some of you, you're taking this moment to either create an opportunity for yourself or to complete something that is going to be as beneficial to you as it is to other people. So there's mutual benefit in whatever is taking place. So again, some opportunities are going to crop up in your home life, in your work life, that are going to give you the chance to reinforce your security, whether that is emotional or financial. So this is a week where things can end on a happy note. You can get along with people. You feel a sense of community. And even if those are people in the past that have been difficult, you somehow manage to, make that connection and improve it. Now, this is also a chance for you to find out where you stand on something. So if last week, you were given an opportunity maybe to interview or put in a bid for something, or turn in a resume, or whatever it was, create a contract, you could find out this week where you stand as far as that is. Or you could find out what kind of progress you're making in something. And that information is going to allow you to prevent some possible problem, or to undo some damage if that's what's necessary. It's going to give you the ability to reinforce your peace of mind. Now, for some of you, you're working against yourself because, again, maybe you were intimidated or, pushed into doing something, or maybe you were acting impulsively without consideration of the truth or the facts, in which case you probably jumped into something without thinking. Maybe you said something impulsively, or you acted on something, and maybe it's difficult for you to get along with other people, no matter what they do it doesn't meet your standard. You're excessively fault finding with other people and their efforts. So if that's the case, you may have to rethink some things about your security. You may have been so focused on yourself or your own interests that you weren't paying attention to the facts. Now remember, the second week you had the Hermit card, which, I said perhaps some of you are focused in one direction and you're ignoring some other areas of your life. So if you were so focused in one area, this last week could be the week where, you realize that you weren't paying attention and there's some kind of red flag to attend to. But generally, this is a card of progress. So you could be very confident, you could be, riding on the waves of success this week, gaining some kind of recognition. Or for some of you, if you've been feeling under the weather, maybe this is a week where you realize you need to appreciate yourself, give yourself more love. Now, the underlying energy is this Star card. It's a major card. And so this is a card about hope, about inspiration, luck, trusting in the future. It's also a very spiritual card about restoration and renewal, refreshing, the essence of who you are, renewed health. There are ties to higher education and knowledge, occult wisdom, expanding yourself in ways. But it's a card that says you are spiritually protected. You're being guided by the universe and your own inner guidance as well. And so, on the physical plane, you may be receiving aid from various sources. Some of you, this ties back to this muddled thinking or trying to shed light on something that's confusing. This Star card is about getting down to the root of something, solving a mystery or something enigmatic. It's seeking guidance because there's an uncertainty to a situation. So, for some of you, there's a focus on getting assistance or perhaps maybe even dealing with healing agencies or it could be young women. But this is a card primarily about having strong faith and optimism. And so your belief systems are very important this month. So if you believe in, a higher power and what it can do, then this may be a month where you feel refreshed. You feel your life is, alive. You feel motivated by situations. And if you're dealing with some troubling situations, it's your faith and your hope that is motivating you to keep moving forward, because regardless of what is happening, you know that you are on the brink of something. You feel it. You feel this personal transformation about to take place, even if you don't know exactly what that change will be. And of course, your intuition is very strong this month, and you can connect to people on an intuitive level. And getting in touch with your higher source is going to provide you the answers to move through any challenging situations and actually, build you in such a way where you feel a great sense of personal or mutual achievement with other people. So whatever challenges you face are actually opportunities for you to improve yourself and become a better self in some way. So you are being tested on your ability to believe that regardless of whatever is happening, that things are happening in the way that they should, and that there is a positive purpose behind even the most difficult situation. The key for you this month is to recognize which situations are good for that. There are some situations that are providing you a challenge, and they're giving you that opportunity to become your best self, in which case there is a reward for you to deal with whatever problems you're dealing with. But for other situations, there's no gain, there's no benefit. It is simply a no-win situation. So the sooner that you are able to determine what is a challenge and what is just simply a no-win situation, the easier it's going to be for you to move forward, and the smoother your journey will be from here. So again, this is a month for you to, if you're allowing your emotions to dominate you, you're not being realistic, not sticking to the facts, you could allow your emotion to override everything, and in the course of that, mistake that as intuition rather than emotion. So this is a month where your faith is being tested. Your faith in yourself, your faith in other people, and your faith in your own belief system. So the advice would be to open yourself to new possibilities so that that faith can be rewarded. The universe will deliver to you, although perhaps not in the way that you are envisioning or in the time frame. But the universe, of course, can see what we can't, and they may have grander visions than you could ever dream of. So, some of you may be receiving some kind of invitation, and this may be the new possibilities that you should open up to. There could be more socializing for you. There could be some romance on the horizon. You could be gaining some new friendships, or there are some opportunities that will be presenting for you. For others of you, this is saying you need to get out into the community, to create fresh possibilities for yourself. It's time for you to get out of your shell. And some of you may have difficulty accepting help. Now, situations are going to revolve this month around your sense of personal security, your sense of belonging, and every decision and action you take will be motivated by that. You're also going to be focused on the future, some opportunities or some situations that may have changed recently, or some opportunities or situations that have the possibility of creating major changes in your life. So this is a month where you're going to be very focused on the future and anything or anyone that is valuable to you that is connected to that future. All right, Pisces, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I would greatly appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and kind comments. The more you engage with me, the more I enjoy this work. So for those of you who have already offered your support, please know that I am grateful and committed to you. Have a wonderful November, and I look forward to speaking with you next month.